There was an old, abandoned school near my house, and my friend and I were quite curious about it. It was all boarded up, making it challenging to get inside. However, we managed to find a way in by climbing up the side of the school using a pipe and slipping through a window on the roof. Once inside, we began our exploration adventure. We decided to check out the basement, which was a bit unsettling because it was flooded. It was strange to see the staircase disappearing into the water. Nevertheless, we continued our exploration. While we were there, we suddenly heard footsteps coming from the doors on the opposite side of the gym. It was quite terrifying, especially since it seemed like it was just one person and not another group of explorers like us. These footsteps blocked our exit back up to the roof, which was the only way out since the other doors were boarded up. The footsteps sounded like someone who was walking around and stopping periodically. It was peculiar because there was no light coming from that direction, and it was difficult to understand why someone would venture into such a creepy place alone. We decided to wait for the footsteps to stop, then quietly cross the gym and look down the hallways, but we saw no one. As we proceeded down the hallway, we suddenly heard someone sprinting behind us. The sound was coming from about 50 meters away, down a typical high school hallway. Even though there was some light coming in through cracks in the window boards, we couldn't see anything behind us. We sprinted up the stairs without looking back, and we didn't stop until we reached the 4th floor. After catching our breath, we listened for any sounds, but heard nothing. We eventually climbed out of the window and descended down the pipe to safety. It was genuinely the scariest experience of my life, and I still have no idea what was going on inside that abandoned school. When I was 16, my best friend and I decided to explore the abandoned asylum grounds near my home. It was an eerie place with a dark history, and we were always curious about what lay hidden within its decaying walls. Among the various buildings on the asylum grounds, there was one tall tower that had always been dark and locked up for as long as I could remember. However, on this particular day, things were different. We noticed a faint light coming from the very top of the tower, and that's when our adventure took a mysterious turn. As we ventured closer to the tower, we heard an odd barking noise. At first, I thought it might be coming from someone else walking their dog in the area, but to your surprise, the barking seemed to originate from the top of the tower. With a sense of hesitation, we craned our necks to look up at the tower's summit. There, in the window high above, we saw a dark silhouette of a person. What made this encounter even stranger was that the barking noises continued, and we realized they were coming from this person. It was an unsettling and perplexing sight. Our hearts racing and adrenaline pumping, we decided not to stick around to investigate further. Without thinking twice, we made a hasty retreat from the scene. As we fled, the person in the tower called out to us in a very unsettling voice, saying, "Bye now," which sent shivers down our spines. After that spine-chilling encounter, I decided to stay far away from that place for quite a few years. The experience had left a lasting impression on me, and I had no desire to return to the abandoned asylum grounds. To this day, the mystery of that tower and the strange person inside continues to haunt my memories. I was about 15 years old, living in a small, old town with a history of abandoned buildings. Some of these buildings, hidden away in the woods, were even rumored to be haunted. One day, my four friends and I decided to embark on a thrilling nighttime exploration of one such building. We were filled with excitement as we anticipated the adventure that lay ahead. As the clock neared 11 p.m., we ventured into the abandoned building that had once served as a hospital back in the 90s. Armed with flashlights, we began our exploration. Initially, everything seemed quite ordinary, and we felt like intrepid adventurers uncovering hidden secrets. However, our sense of adventure quickly turned into apprehension when we reached the building's first floor. We heard distinct footsteps echoing from the other side of the structure. Startled, we fell into an uneasy silence and cautiously made our way towards the source of the sound. What we stumbled upon was nothing short of terrifying. A group of 4 to 5 individuals, clad in what appeared to be black gowns, gathered around a blazing fire. The sight was so unexpected and unsettling that we couldn't contain our fear. All 5 of us let out screams of shock and immediately rushed back downstairs, our hearts pounding. We were determined to exit the building as swiftly as we could. To this day, we remain unsure about what was happening in that abandoned building. Perhaps those individuals were engaged in some kind of ritual or ceremony. The experience was a chilling reminder of the mysteries that can lurk in the dark corners of our world, and it's an adventure none of us will ever forget.